Okay, the light is not the greatest today. Maybe even the sound. I don't know. It's 5 something in the morning. It's Thanksgiving 2020. And this is Laura from the Yarn Closet in St. David, Arizona, which is nearly Mexico, but cold. And I have trees. And I have leaves that won't leave. Yeah, I can't see worth a blip this morning. I'm legally blind if you're new here. It's been so long. But I wanted to post today because I am so thankful for the people who've stuck by me during the silence, during the crazy. Thankful that the Fat Squirrel has a new podcast out today, and Amy Florence of Stranded Dye Works, so I can enjoy those over the next few days. The silence has been because we moved during COVID crazy and now live on a 1-acre pecan orchard hobby farm. And our little chicks have gone from 8 to 6. We believe an owl was responsible. But they are more than teenagers now, and we actually have 2 roosters. We have put a netting over the top of our rather large chicken coop and hutches. Do you want to see who's my co-host this morning? My quiet little co-host. That's Chip, our 9-year-old party poodle, laying on a blanket that my mom knitted about a year and a half ago, I think. You can find me over on Instagram as TheYarnCloset AZ for Arizona, or MawgeeKitty on Ravelry. I share that account with my mom. We used to have lots of fun on the podcast together. She is still loom knitting. She has almost no sight now. She's significantly worse than I am. She has RP and macular. Did I say it was 5 o'clock something? I've already fed the barn cats with some heated water to make it warm because it was 32 when I got up. I heard all the chickens and they were fine. What else? One of the indoor cats woke me up. We all just love the weather here. It's so much cooler. I had a plan. It's completely escaped me now. I don't know. Look at this. If you've never had, and I really hope I got that in the frame, if you've never had a plug-in electric fireplace heater, they're slightly noisy, but so much fun. As long as you get the kind that the heat comes up not from the bottom, but above where you see the fire, it's quite nice. Heats up this very large room easily. I like it better than the radiant heater we have permanently attached next to it. And did you see the really big box that the TV was on as I was, pivoting? That's a Murphy bed. It's a queen size memory foam Murphy bed. It is really lovely, really lovely. This is a knitting podcast, but we travel on the tangent train a lot. My husband leaves later this morning for his hunt. We're doing an outdoor Thanksgiving this year with a girl that's in my daughter's class. So Prue and Connor were homeschooling this year. Those are my kids, 12 and 5, soon to be 13 and 6. We have a 25-year-old. He'll soon be 26. So the kids' birthdays are February, March, and April. So the kids are homeschooling, and then, we did the move and all, and it's been crazy. I mean, we've had to fence the acre. We've had to build a bunch of things, get all the infrastructure going. We had a well and a watering system that was completely run down. We've got 98% of that fixed. Hopefully I'll be talking to someone who does solar to have a solar backup for our well. We also have city water, but it would be nice to know that in crazy world times, if we needed to, the well would be fine. Because of all of this, I have gotten my knitting boards. I have flat knitting machines, the LK150s. I have combined one to be a 200 stitch, and the other one that's in the front of the house is a 100 stitch. I've been making some prototypes for fingerless gloves. I'm working on my finishing techniques. I don't know why they're not as good as they should be. But maybe I do know why. So I'll have to try a couple new things. I've been making lots of cotton, what do you call those? Pot holders. This one is big. That's about it. I've got some panels that I made for some little sweatery things that I've been putting together on the machine. I'm learning how to seam things on the flat machine because that's become harder and harder for me, is the mattress stitch and the seaming of things, the finishing. And I'm trying to do thinner fabrics so it's more functional. However, I do live in a colder climate now. I'm quite thrilled. Many, many nights in the 30s. You know, days of the 60s. It's just lovely. I love being active with the chickens and the barn cats and, oh my gosh, raking nonstop. And so it's not even pecan harvest, and we've probably already processed 50 pounds of pecans just from the like 3 or 4 trees that have been falling all over the driveway during our heavier winds that we get in the winter. Don't even talk about the candied pecans. A little sugar and butter and some cinnamon on some pecans. Oh boy. And I'm trying to walk the dogs every day, once or twice. The kids got together with the neighbors that go to school. So my daughter, like I said, was getting to, we met a couple of the neighbors, and these kids are going to school, and the school here is quite crazy as far as their precautions, and in a good way. Like the previous school we went to were a little crazy, but didn't seem in the most effective way from what I was hearing. So I've really appreciated that this public school, and it's a public school, so my 5-year-old's now going to a public school. It's a very large campus with separate buildings for grade school, middle school, and high school. The kids here are lovely. They don't have that. It's a very small community, like, I don't know, 3,000 maybe, 2,000. It's, when you're on campus, the kids don't have that snotty air of coolness and whatever. They're very down-to-earth, farm, country-oriented kids. Masks and very good at keeping their space and their hands to themselves, and the precautions are quite nice. We went to a Veterans Day program that was outside. There are very few, if any, cases in the county we now live in, which is lovely. And as much as I want to visit with some of my Tucson friends to keep my county safe, I'm not doing it. My parents, who very rarely go out, are occasionally visiting. and we do walks with the neighbors. Um, but it's been very nice living and moving to a community that's easily safety conscious in regards to what's going on, because they're more outdoor oriented, being a country farm kind of community. But it's but I still know what's going on, and I still have plenty of family in Tucson. I've got a young cousin, who's in with COVID in the hospital and pancreatitis. Um, Two of my female cousins that are in their 30s have had very mild cases. It's gotten down to the point where if you don't know somebody who's had it, you're gonna soon. And it's we have friends who've lost friends, who are our same age, and it's nerve-wracking to understand the why of it all. And we just pray every day and pray. But Prue is going to school, and she's riding the bus. It's just around the corner. It's like a 2-minute drive from here to get to the school. It takes me about 10 minutes on Pinky. But it's not easy for me to drive there on Pinky, and it's chilly. And because there's literally only about 8 people on the bus, she is our social person. She needs to be out. She counts down from the time she gets home, the last day of the week, until she starts up again on Monday, because they only go Monday through Thursday. And she would go 7 days a week if she could. I mean, she loves it. She loves the activity. She loves the social. Even though she talks now more about some of the differences in social stuff that goes on. But like I said, the kids are surprisingly nice and well behaved in our community. We're blessed. We hope you all are, even if you're alone, are able to spend some time over the weekend thinking of the good stuff, because that has been our constant mantra of when the sadness hits, turn it around. Use your Alexa for some fun music. Get up and dance for a minute, and do what you can. And like my son said to my husband the other day, well, pecans have become your hobby, because we're out there raking every day. We're out there collecting pecans that fall on the driveway, because the idea of just driving over them and being wasteful is beyond us. And then we're sorting them, because some of them you have to go through a process to get the hulls off prior to the shells. And then we realized and learned from people here locally, because we are now working with a little co-op of pecan farmers in our area, to have our trees shaken at the proper time of harvest, when you do the mass harvest, and be involved in that whole thing. So we've learned a lot, because what we are getting are raw pecans. So if you are gifted some of our pecans, they're raw. You should rinse them and toast them in the oven, or soak them, or boil them. Also, doing any of these processes will help the deshelling process, because that's the bugger of it all, people. That's the bugger of it all, because you basically put them through a mill that kind of cracks or pulverizes the shells a bit, and then you have to still get the meat out one by one, or you crack them one by one and then have to get the meat out. I mean, it's just like life on the prairie in the Laura Ingalls Wilder times. It's kind of a riot. And we are still growing some cabbage and some winter gardening things. I've been doing hamama something. It's this kind of hydroponic microgreen deal I got it as a Christmas present for my mom, but we ended up giving it early because she brought one of our early Christmas presents. Because she's been going stir crazy. If you know my mother, that's stir crazy. And so now she's growing some microgreens in her apartment, and I'm doing it. It's quite fun. It's just like having what did we call them? Did I tell you it was early? Well, they're little microgreens. They're like you know, oh, I cannot think of the word. But it's fun to toss them on the top of a soup or a chili or something that you've been making, or add them to a regular salad. And then, like, I cut up the roots and things for the chickens, and they love them. So that's, that's been a lot of what's been going on here. We're talking about screening in part of our front porch. So we have an area we can bring the inside cats, because we've been putting them on leashes and harnesses and giving them a space out there to play. And the kids are really enjoying that. So we're going to make it a little bit easier and safer. I highly recommend just going outside for some walks. I was not able to do that as much as I wanted to in Tucson, and it's been so much nicer here, and I feel like I've been getting a much bigger health benefit. Although, if you look at me, good gravy, have I aged? Oh, Lordy. 49 and fabulous, but wrinkled to get out. That's a stinker of a thing to come to terms with as you age as a woman. And I don't feel, 50. I still feel, although I feel the aches and pains, I still feel young and vibrant, and I have to check myself occasionally because I can't do everything that I did do when I was younger or that I want to do due to eyesight and stuff. But I hope my small minutes of podcast have been good for you and a blessing. You all have been a blessing. All the people on Patreon who continue to follow on Instagram and chat on Instagram and Patreon and here on YouTube. I love you all and hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Look with your heart first, and I am hoping to be around between now and Christmas for some weekly podcasts as a way to give back to all of you that have stuck by me through this time and really helped lift me up and support me. So look with your heart first. Happy Thanksgiving.